Even though I owned a Genesis back in the 1990s, this is the first time I've ever been able to play Castlevania Bloodlines. At the time, it was the only Castlevania to appear on a non-Nintendo platform in America, and it seems as though the developers deliberately sought to make this one different from the others. In general, the game moves at a very fast pace, just like in a lot of Genesis games. Instead of hearts to fire your sub-weapons, there are little things I thought at first were credit cards, but it turns out they're gems. The sub-weapons are the same as in the previous games, but there's no watch that stops the time. The boomerang shoots a little differently, and the holy water seems more worthless than in previous games. These weapons fire when you hit C, but if you hold up at the same time, they will fire in a more powerful way, consuming more of your credit card balance. Gems. Breakable walls are now distinguishable by cracks. Not sure how I feel about that. It gives the secret away, but it also keeps you from having to randomly hit walls all around you. You can now tell which candles hold the sub-weapons. It's the ones that aren't doubled, so you don't end up accidentally grabbing one you don't want, which I think is a great idea. There are two characters to choose from, John and Eric. John has the whip, and has the ability to swing like Tarzan. And Eric has the spear, and has the ability to super jump upward. I enjoyed using him more, because the super jump is very useful, and the long length of the spear makes hitting the enemies a little bit easier. Another way this game breaks with tradition is that it mostly takes place outside Dracula's castle. It's nice to get away every once in a while. The stages take place all over Europe during World War I. You do battle inside a munitions factory in Germany, as well as the Leaning Tower of Pisa in Italy, which, in pure video game fashion, is now about a mile high and has a boss on top of it. I enjoyed playing Castlevania Bloodlines. It feels very Genesis-like, with its fast pace and low color palette-like looks. That one's kinda hard to explain, but I think you know what I mean. The bosses are awesome. Here's one where the guy has to be destroyed before he fills the screen with water. Here's another one that has to slowly be reduced in size. The default challenge level will test a lot of people. There's a ton of checkpoints, so there's not as much rewalking as in previous Castlevanias. There's only 2 continues though. There's a password system, but it remembers the number of continues and the number of lives. I found switching to easy and cranking up the lives to be the most enjoyable way to play the game, although some things about the game are different, like the absence of the Frankenstein boss. Castlevania Bloodlines is an above-average platformer, but when I reach for a Castlevania game, I prefer the more flavorful ones on the NES, or the more Metroid-like ones on the Game Boy Advance. I'll play this one again sometime, but for now, I have other Castlevania games to review. See you next time. This rating is a measurement of how fun it is to play this game today, compared to all other games. Basically, this game is more fun than most games out there. See the description for more details.